So we have grand finals here between Saitama and Levatus. We are not running a bracket reset, so Saitama, despite coming in from winner sides, there is no game advantage here. And speaking of Saitama, in the bottom right, as the yellow troll player, we have Saitama up against Levatus, who's sticking with the dwarves up in the top left.
Yep, and you love to see it. I'm really excited to see how these guys approach the pathing on this map, since it really can be very different between players and matchups. And it looks like here we've got a divergence where Saitama is kind of going along the more natural route, where you hit the small camp and then continue onwards, whereas Levatus went for the neutral unoccupied camp and then is racing past the hard camp into the middle sector, and it seems as though he's going to be able to take it. He's working his way through the bandits. A little unfortunate that the skeletons are aggroing onto his totem, but he's getting the flag up, and I think he should be able to hold it against Saitama with any luck.
Yeah, I guess, it comes down to, is the upgrade going to come into coming on time? And this is actually very different from what we saw earlier, where you were talking about people generally want to capture their opponent's side.
Yes.
And sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's like the opposite here. We get to see how this interaction works out when both sides are doing like the same side.
Yes, and what you can see here is, what people maybe worry about. Now, trolls are a bit different because they care about different sectors, and they care about how many sectors they have less, perhaps, than other factions. But you can see, Levatus has taken that base, and Saitama just ran past. He is getting the two middle sectors, which are the iron sectors. There are other iron sectors, but those are the big two for this map. But on the flip side, he was able to now run past and achieve parity by taking that middle sector, quote unquote, of his opponent.
Yeah, so it's evening out. I guess those two middle sectors are quite nice, though.
They are.
Are there any scrap in those center sections?
So they moved the scrap at one point. But to answer your question, yes. There's a pile in each of those. And so that is actually very important for the trolls as a consequence. I'm not sure where else on the map scrap is available. I guess on the two wyvern sectors on the corners. And there may be others that I'm not thinking of right now.
Oh, I love this little skirmish going on right now where Saitama is actually taking advantage of using the Godstone to... As soon as one of those smashers gets low, he's just like, yep, I'm just going to teleport you out.
And the smashers are already hard enough to kill, much less with them freely being able to teleport out.
But while this is going on, actually, there's an axe wielder doing some nice harass here over in the center, so...
Yep.
We're
Should be able to take up that flag.
Yeah, we're getting to see like some really nice multi-prong confrontation going on where, earlier when we watched that, I believe it was Levatus versus Gecko, where early on in the game there was a bunch of multi-prong, but it came down to like a lot of individual large fights. And in this, it's nice to see, I guess, the variety of like seeing two players go for more of like a harassment style play.
For sure. And it looks like that axe wielder is not going to be able to quite finish off the eye banner. But on the other hand, that is, Saitama's hero chasing after an axe wielder instead of creeping like Levatus is able to do at the top.
Yeah, and he's like knocking down these cutthroats right now.
Yep.
Hits level 3, which is really good for him.
This is a map where it's relatively easy to hit level 5. In particular, if he clears those 3 top camps and then clears his hard camp, that should be enough to get him level 5, assuming, Saitama may have taken some of his creeps, I'm not sure, but I don't think so. I think that'd be a clean level 5 for him if he gets all those camps taken care of.
And he has enough of a lead that I think he could probably get a camp advantage.
I am inclined to agree with you. The only caveat is Saitama is at 24 supply to Levatus is 4, and so if Saitama ends his creeping early to pressure, you know, Saitama may not have his level 5, but neither would Levatus, potentially.
Oh, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, force your opponent to move away from farming to actually fight.
Exactly. And taking a look at what Levatus is doing with his economy, he's building a lot of buildings. I'm not sure what, but he's at minus 46 on bricks. Just trying to take a look around to see what he's investing that into. Looks like he's upgrading basically all of his flags to at least level 1, which isn't cheap. And he is now going for that hard camp, while Saitama may be going for that wyvern. That could be very, very interesting with the differences in route. That is another scrap sector for him, so that is important.
Makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of curious how these smashers are going to do, getting away from this... Oh, I guess they just don't get away from it, they just take it in the face.
That's the beauty of the smashers. They got 1,250 health.
Yeah, I guess, like, yeah, once one gets low, yeah, just easily micro it away.
Yep. They do bonus damage when low on health, but not really worth the risk, I would say, at this stage.
Yeah. Yeah, when you can easily kill the wyvern. Yeah, there's not
There we go. Level 5 for Levatus kicked in right as he finished off that hard camp.
Nice, and what we're going to see here from this wyvern kill, 5 as well. Okay, so they both just hit 5.
Very good stuff. This is a nice, close game to begin, especially since Troll supply is weird. It's very easy for them to get a very high army supply, because I believe just about all of their units cost the same supply in the sense that the Smashers, you know, are, I believe, 4 each. Even if you've upgraded them to Skull Crushers or Spike Flingers or anything else, it's still that same 4 supply. So the number can be misleading for that supply count.
Alright, now we see Wyvern going down on the side of Levatus.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess is Saitama not actually cleared any of these creep camps on the south side.
That's true.
I wonder if Levatus actually...
the base.
Oh, is he going for a base? Okay, well I don't think he's going to get in time for this Wyvern to go down. Oh, but the Wyvern's done so much damage to these
yes,
axe wielders that... Oh, this is going to be a very difficult defense, I think.
Yeah, and that's one of the big struggles with the Lightning Worm or Wyvern is you may not lose any units to it because it's easy enough to pull back, but your army is so scuffed that, you know, when this happens, you're in a very difficult situation, especially with that level 5 Plaguebringer. I'm pretty sure it can easily knock out those axe wielders if they try to teleport in.
Okay, what are we seeing? Okay, yeah, Levatus is just like, you know what, you can slowly damage this frontier post. There is some army actually coming in to reinforce.
And that's given the axe wielders times to mostly heal up. So this, I think, is a very, very well executed defense from Levatus. He I think, has gotten here in time to hold it.
Yeah, loses a couple of crossbows, but I think that's actually a decent trade. Like, you got the Wyvern kill, you didn't lose any units, like, teleporting back or anything.
No, I really like that. You know, we've seen in the previous games people kind of panic teleporting to their own detriment. This was like a very, you know, thoughtful, calm response that worked out great.
And, oh, he's actually going to go for some counter pressure. I guess this makes sense. Like, you could probably pick off a couple of these workers for free.
Sure. I will say at this stage of the game, you're more worried about the buildings than the workers, but even still, he is tugging Saitama towards him, and he does have a level advantage, so keeping Saitama busy may not be a bad thing.
Yeah, I guess, like, when it comes to trolls, like, because it's one worker per building, that is, like, essentially disarming that building for quite a while.
That's true. That's true.
That is quite a long time for that Stonebreaker building to be empty.
That is true.
But I guess
it's definitely not nothing to damage him. Now, Levatus is trying to go to the shop to buy his weapon and armor, and he has his army still deployed to give him time to do that, despite Saitama's, you know, poking into potentially pressure, but has to back up.
Yeah, this is working out really well for Levatus. I kind of want to see him maybe try and clear, like, if he could, try and clear some of these south creep camps.
To try and deny him to his opponent. That could be interesting, but I don't know that Saitama will give him quite that much time as he comes down to that bottom left middle sector. Levatus needs to be a little bit careful since they'll probably need to teleport, and you can accidentally leave your army behind, but I don't think that's actually going to wind up being any kind of problem. What is a problem is that is a scouting post and a lot of skull crushers hitting it. But there we go. Gets back in time.
Yeah, the army comes in, and that's a lot of crossbow fire. One skull crusher getting very low. And oh, right.
What?
Saitama just teleports out.
He's looking to trade bases here because he forced out the teleport from his opponent, and now he's teleporting himself. And that is an all crossbow army. It does not kill buildings. Well, you know what? I was gonna say it doesn't kill buildings too quickly, and then he he just about 5-shots it with his army.
Yeah, he's still got a bunch of axe wielders in the front. I believe his heroes with this as well. So yeah, it's going to go down relatively fast. And yeah, trading for actually, I feel like this is a more developed position, like the center one, compared to like that frontier post at the north.
It is a tier 2, but trolls only have 2 tiers on their building, so I think a troll tier 1 and a dwarf tier 2 is fairly comparable. And it's also notable in that that is an iron sector, as well as a scrap sector. So in terms of kind of the resources for the sector, I would definitely say Levatus came out ahead. Particularly if he's also able to take out this other Eye of the Tribe. Saitama does not have his teleport yet, I don't think, and isn't able or willing to push into the next outpost. So this is looking really good so far for Levatus. He's also up in supply.
Yeah, this is looking great for him. And yeah, like, you know, it would have been a fortified outpost to push into next. So that would have taken a long time to go down. Whereas, like, you know, Levatus has already started taking this base down.
Absolutely.
And oh no, we're gonna see it. Yeah, first Skull Crusher goes down. There is, I guess, this like Wall Breaker. You know, it's pretty tanky. There's a lot of beefy units here, but the focus fire from these crossbows is absolutely brutal.
It is, and the shotgun, it's not as effective as it would be against smaller units, but it ain't nothing to sneeze at. He is doing a great job here.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, Saitama just lost a ton of population there.
And we've got, I guess, reinforcements coming through to pincer Saitama's army. I call it an army. He's got 4 guys on the map right now.
Well, I guess all you need is a Plaguebringer Ultimate and a Dream, right? But
yeah.
Well, actually, that said, there's so many dwarves now.
Yes. And I think a perk of it being ranged units, they don't clump up quite as badly as melee units do, which reduces the effectiveness of that ultimate. And he is getting another Eye of the Tribe down. That is absolutely huge, as Saitama has to just walk away.
Yeah, this is looking amazing for Levatus.
Really is. I feel like Saitama has, you know, a style of, you know, some early game strength, followed by like a mid-game economic boom, followed by just an overwhelming swarm of army to crush his opponents. And Levatus seems to have been able to capitalize and take a bunch of bases before Saitama was able to come in with that big boom.
Yeah, and he's just picking off more and more of these trolls now. Every volley of arrows is like killing one more troll.
Yeah, I do like this crossbow composition for that reason.
Oh, he has to be careful though. This Hierophant's getting pretty low. Alright, I think he recognizes that and backs up a bit.
Indeed. Though I will say it's sometimes a good thing to let your hero die, because then you revive it at full health, and if your opponent can't actually capitalize on the hero death, heroes are free to revive. They don't cost any resources.
That's true. Oh, I wish he'd like killed that fight hut. That just would have been like a nice little pick off. It's so low. Although I guess repairing it forces like extra resources to be spent, which is probably something Saitama doesn't really want to do right now.
I would think not. The High Hierophant is a little bit of a awkward spot, but I don't think Saitama's in a position to do a whole lot with that fact.
I think,
Although,
was
as
that
I say
more
that-
items getting bought, or?
I'm guessing he went back to pick up a bunch of potions.
Oh, that's also a good point.
And yeah, he's got he had 11 potions and has been chugging them.
Let's take a quick look. Yeah, there's 6 on the side of Saitama. And... oh wow,
I'm actually a
yeah.
little confused.
Yeah, there's like none on the side of Levatus now. Did Levatus go and buy like... some armor or something?
So it looked like he had 11 and then drank them all. I'm not really sure what happened there, but the hero goes down. This is massive.
Yeah, just like ran up and like 2-shot that hero. Big crossbow ball. Yeah, Levatus is just so many archers now.
Yeah, he's got enough archers that they are able to punch into those buildings reasonably effectively. And right now he's kind of splitting his focus. Half the army hitting the base and the other half trying to, keep Saitama's army off of him, and it's working really well. Saitama's down to 30 supply.
Yeah, oh wow, we see a GG come out from Saitama already.
Well played, my goodness.
Yeah, that was fantastic there by Levatus. And oh, we actually, I mean, Saitama was the favorite coming into this event. And Levatus showing that, hey, like, gods can bleed, right?
For sure. Looks like a little bit of chat. Well, okay. Very, very well. My God. How many spectators?
Yeah.
Taking a look at that progression chart here, and wow. They were pretty even in army supply. Then Levatus spiked up. They had a big fight, and that was kind of all she wrote.
Yeah, you can just see the difference in army size dipping. Like after each fight. Like the first one, like Levatus barely lost anything, and Saitama went down to like almost half.
Yeah.
And then kind of the same story for the next one. Like, yeah, Levatus lost like 20 population, but Saitama lost half his population again, and then yeah, third time in a row. Levatus barely went down, like barely dipped at all, really, and then
yeah,
you can kind of see when the crossbow bolt came in as well at one point.
Absolutely, and one thing I think is kind of a notable comparison. So if we just kind of make a mental note, so around 12 minutes is when that first fight happens. If you go into then the sectors graphic, the third one, you'll see that Saitama was trying to invest in his sectors. You can see it dips down 1 because something got blown up, and then jumps up 2 more. So he'd been upgrading 3 sectors right then, for a net gain of 2 or whatever. My math is maybe wrong, but anyway, he was trying to boom up his economy, and then gets punched in the face.
Yeah, and then Levatus is able to just take the lead and maintain it.
Yep.
You look at like hero XP as well. There's like around the 8-minute mark, Levatus just has a lead and just keeps it.
Yep. Yeah. So Saitama was content with level 5, and as it was not enough.
Okay, we'll just take a quick look. Yeah, tech level. Alright, yeah, like tech level 3 for dwarves, like right at the end there as well, so behind all of that, like Levatus was getting ready for the late game as well.
Yeah.
So nicely done. We're gonna go into game 2.